I'm Lorin Wilson, RunLab Clinical Gait Specialist, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit today about how to build up muscular endurance without running. And I'm going to take you guys through a 5-exercise circuit that you can start incorporating into your weekly routine, start building up your muscular endurance. So a lot of times people, they want to build up their endurance just by running more. And that's oftentimes a trap that beginning runners often get into, is if I want to build up my endurance, I just need to be able to run as much as I can. The problem with that is that there's a lot of ground reaction forces going on in running. So when you're running, you're doing that series of single leg squat, hopping through the air, landing on the other leg, doing another single leg squat. So there's a lot of decelerating as you absorb load, and then re-accelerating as you propel yourself forward through space. And that's just a lot of force to control and a lot of force to produce. And oftentimes people's muscles and tendons will start to break down. So by incorporating different exercises that work the primary muscles, specifically the quads, the glutes, and the core, those are going to be your primary drivers that absorb load and then turn the load into propulsion energy. If you can work those muscles without those ground reaction forces, well, that's going to translate over into your running and make your running a lot more enjoyable. So what I personally do is, a lot of us are crunched for time. So what I like to do is set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes, pick 5 to 6 different exercises, do 10 reps of each exercise, and then just get as many rounds as you can in that 10 to 15 minutes. And that's a really good way to fit it into your real life schedule, so around your job and your other obligations, and get that work in. So doing that 2 to 3 times a week could help improve your running. So what are the exercises? So the first exercise is a play on the squat. So it's a med ball squat slam. So this is an 8-pound medicine ball. So you're going here, the ball's over your head, you go down, and you slam the ball. So why do I like this exercise so much? For one, it's that functional movement, the squat. So I've talked about this in other videos, but the squat really is going to test your ankle, your knee, and your hip range of motion, and your spinal mechanics and your spinal stability. So you want to be able to go down into that squat, and you want your posture to be about the same angle as your shin. So a lot of times what I see and what we see here when people do squat slams is they'll hinge at the hips and they'll turn it into a hinge exercise. And a lot of times I can put a lot of stress on that low back, especially if you don't have the bracing involved with it. So you really want to squat down into it, keep that posture, again, same angle as that shin. So you're going to work your quads, you're going to work your glutes, you're going to work your core. So why the slam? When you have the ball over your head, so right now, to hold the ball up over my head, I have to engage my abdominal muscles and I have to engage my spinal muscles to maintain that stability. As I start to come down, I have to engage my core to start producing the power to slam the ball. So you're teaching your body to coordinate that, and so that you're going to be able to better use your core to help you run with more power. So that's the squat slam, doing 10 of those. The second exercise is going to be lunge with chop. So the ball's back over my head, again, to work on that abdominal bracing and that spinal stability. And then I'm going to lunge forward, bend at the ankle, the knee, and the hip, get that triple flexion. So this really mimics that load absorption rate or phase of the gait cycle. This back leg is in triple extension, so I'm extended at the hip, the knee, and the ankle, and that's going to mimic the propulsion. And then once I'm here, I bring the ball down across my body, and what that does is it teaches my core to stabilize and get some rotational force, because now the ball, gravity's pulling it down. I have to engage my core to stop that. So getting that cross-abdominal stability, and again, teaching my core to produce power. So then I would step back up, and then lunge to that other way. So the thing here is you don't want to cross over your legs. That's a common thing. You want to leave your legs about shoulders width apart so that you have that nice stable foundation. And then you don't want any crashing in right here as well. That's going to put extra stress on the outside, so getting some IT band friction, but then also shortening that adductor right there. So that's going to be the lunge with chop. Third exercise in the routine, I've talked about it in a couple other videos, but it's a super functional and a great exercise for runners to incorporate, is going to be that step up right here. So again, you're going from flexion to extension, which really mimics that load absorption to propulsion part of the gait cycle. If you want to make it a little bit more difficult, you can start to add some going across your body to get a little bit of more core engagement. So right now for us, this box is 18 inches. I recommend using a box that's at least knee height or below. So since this is to build up muscular endurance, I personally use one that's about halfway up my shins. That way I can really knock out those reps and get through all the full circuit more times during my 10 to 15 minutes that I've allotted to it. So that's going to be the step up. The next exercise, the fourth exercise in this circuit, is what we call the speed skater. So you're just hopping to the side, stabilizing on one leg for 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And the speed skater is great because right when you land on that leg, you go into that triple flexion. Flex at the ankle, the knee, and the hip. That's going to mimic that load absorption phase of the gait cycle. So you're strengthening those muscles and those joints and the mechanics of that. And then also it starts to build up the endurance in your tendons. So the elastic component in your tendons and your muscles, because you're getting a little bit of a hop. And that's going to make you a little bit lighter on your feet. You're going to reduce that ground contact time. And you're going to have a more floating sensation when you run, when your body fully absorbs that exercise. And then you can also do the speed skater with a med ball rotation to again add that core stability and getting that power through your core, because bringing it side to side, you're going to get more engagement through the core and through the spinal muscles. The last exercise, it's a very standard exercise. A lot of exercise programs will do it. It's just the standard push-up. And it's really great for runners as well because it forces you or teaches you to engage the core, engage the spine, engage the shoulders. And a lot of times you don't think about it, but you'll see runners, they'll be flexing side to side, their arms will be flailing, and that's because they haven't developed the proper strength and control and stability through their abdominals, and they're not able to use their abdominals to stabilize or to propel themselves down the road efficiently. So to do a push-up, just some tips here. You want to get into the push-up position. My hands are right underneath my shoulders. A lot of times people don't like push-ups though because they hurt their wrist or they hurt their shoulders or their elbows. So a couple tips to try to limit that. You want to get in that push-up position. Once you're here, you want to rotate your hands away. So I'm going to rotate my right hand to the clockwise, and I'm going to rotate my left hand counterclockwise. And what that does is it builds up tension in my wrist and in my shoulder joint. And that's going to stabilize those joints. So I rotate them away, I go down, and then I come up. So say that a lot of times people also do push-ups on their knees. If you can avoid that, I would recommend doing an elevated push-up instead. That way you can maintain those proper mechanics, and then you're going to be able to transition to a flat push-up or even elevating your feet above your hands, which is a more difficult style push-up, faster. So what I mean by elevated push-up is you get your hands onto a box above your waist, rotate the hands away, and then go down and up. And as you get stronger, as you get more comfortable with that, you would just start to lower the box or lower whatever you're resting your hands on until you're able to do it completely flat on the ground. So just to recap, our 5 exercises, we have squat slam, we have lunge with chop, we have step-ups, we have speed skaters, and we have push-ups. Just doing 10 of each on the ones that are unilateral, so one leg, do 5 of each. And just set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes. Start to build up that muscular endurance in a little bit safer way without the ground reaction forces of running. And start to see the improvement in your running by incorporating this circuit.